Woo! Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. If overthinking is a thing that you struggle with, which a lot of people do, a lot of people that I will coach and have coached in the past struggle a lot with overthinking. I want you to think of overthinking like this. It requires two things. Number one, it requires you not to trust your gut instincts to the point where you are questioning whether your initial reaction or your initial gut is telling you to do something or not to do something, which would be the easy way to really figure out what you should do because it's your guidance system to guide you. And the second thing is the requirement of validation, external validation from the outside world. You overthink because you don't trust yourself and you would rather rely upon the external validation of others versus you. It's an abandonment of self. It's an abandonment of who you are authentically. So anytime we're starting to overthink things, even on the most basic of level of what should I eat today? I mean, how many couples have had an quasi-pseudo argument because one can't decide what they're going to have for dinner? Even though inside gut speaking, they know, oh, I'd like to say this, but it's like, if I say this, what is this other person going to think? Right? I mean, that at its very core is about external validation and not trusting yourself. When we overthink so many things in our life, we're completely abandoning who we are at our core values, our self, because we're relying upon the external validation of other people. When I work with trainers who, want to get into the personal training business, and they're like kind of got their toes in and kind of got their toes out. It's like, well, my mom and dad would rather me do this for a living instead of that. So we're still relying upon other people's opinions to dictate what we do with ourselves, even though at our core, our gut is telling us to do something, but yet we're going against it because it may not be the most popular choice for other people. I will say this: if you want to kill your overthinking, really tap in to your intuition. It is your strongest force that you possess in your body because it will not tell you the wrong thing. The problem lies in, can we get in touch with it? Because oftentimes our brain and our heart are going to tell us two separate things away from what our intuition may tell us. In fact, I read a book a long time ago by a CIA operative who interviewed so many different people as it relates to crimes that had been committed against them. In every single situation, they knew at some juncture something wasn't right. But yet they used, against their own judgment, they continued on. So that tells me that our intuition is very strong. We just don't listen to it. So if you want to eradicate or at least dissipate some of your overthinking, start trusting yourself. Now, how do you do that, Josh? Well, a lot of times trusting yourself because, the world tells us to be and do and act a certain way. We go against what our innate reactions may be. So it may take some time to get in touch with yourself, forgetting about all the external things that exist in the world. This is what I do for clients, really being able to dissolve this bullshit narrative that they have about themselves and thus create a new narrative that is a real narrative about who you are and getting to trust who you are. Because the moment you start trusting yourself, the moment you start having freedom and peace within you, not worrying about what everybody else has to say. If this resonated with you, if this was beneficial for you, please, by all means, drop it in the comments section. Share it with a friend. Buff Gandhi.